Hello everybody and welcome back to my shop. I'm not quite sure what your shear looks like, but sooner or later after you have done a whole bunch of metal projects, there's all this stuff piling up and you're wondering what to do with it because it's just a little bit too good to throw out, and really at the same time there's not much value to it. So a bunch of junk little pieces. So I decided to build some VGs. So what you need those VGs is basically some 6061 D6 020, 025. Don't go any lighter than that. The design is not my design. I actually got that from a fellow bush caddy builder out in Quebec. Thanks, Robert. And the size of those VGs, if you cut a strip at 1 3/4 inches wide, and then you cut yourself a master with 1.5 inches on the top surface up here, this one, and then the bottom surface along here, 3.5 inches. The other thing you need to do is build yourself a forming block. Okay, now that forming block, when you look here, it has a slight curve in it. Okay, very simple little unit here. All I've done is I just put some screws through there. Okay, they're just the number 6 or number 8 or whatever you decide. I think it's a 6. And they just kind of go together, and then you clamp it in your vise and you can hammer it over. So you cut a whole bunch of those little things. The other thing you also need is a small jig, and that one basically is to drill the holes. So if you put this in here as an example, okay, you can see you just need this, and then all you do is you reset it once. You do first the bottom ones and then you do all the top ones, and any drill press will do. Just a very simple piece of wood as a jig. The next thing, a little hammer, a sander, and a vise. So it's not really a high-tech shop job. And let's go and do one. The form block here is just a 3/4 inch plywood. It might be better to have some MDF or something a little bit harder, but this thing has done hundreds of VGs now. The front edge is 1 inch of the finished VG. The back edge is 2.5 inches. Okay, again, the screws underneath, the surface, and the slight curvature. You can just use a rasp to form those two pieces and make it just the right thing for your VGs. Okay, or for your leading edge, I mean. So what you do is with your block here, you take your pieces after they have been cut out and drilled. I already have this, was a previously used piece of metal. You can see the primer on the bottom side. Just goes in. Always remember what is top and bottom. Put the top block on it. Put it together into your vise. Give it a little bit of squeeze. Hammer it over. Turn it over. Same on the other side. Okay. Now what happened is the curvature of the leading edge is built into the little VG. I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to see this, but if I put a thing on here, can you see this here? There's a slight curvature underneath, and what this does basically, it just allows for the curvature of the leading edge. Next thing, turn on your sander. And round off the edges here nicely. Also the same in the front. For mounting, if you have a bush caddy or if you have a Merlin GT, I can give you some instructions what we have done. Works quite well. If you have any other aircraft, cannot really give you anything in detail because we have not tried those on any other planes than the Bush Caddy and the Merlin GT. The question that's gonna come up, of course, is are they any better than anything else that you can purchase out there? Well, I don't know. They're cheaper because you can build it from scraps. It's just small little metal pieces, right? Forgot to mention earlier, when you do this, make sure you keep a master blank, and that's mainly to drill the holes. Okay, so next time you want to orient your drill jig on the breast, you want to keep one of those master things to make sure they're exactly lined up and it goes exactly onto your screws on the forming jig. As for size, on the Merlin we removed the little feathers, which are those ones here, the Aussie little things. Now there's definitely a difference in performance. Look at the size. I do think that at slower speeds the all metal one here performs better than the plastic one. However, if you have a soft leading edge like on a Beaver or a Challenger or something that does not have a metal leading edge where you can rivet those on, you'd have to either double stick them with tape or just do yourself a favor and just forfeit the whole thing and just order a box of the Aussie ones. Those are some other ones. I retrieved those off a little buzzard. Okay, they look like they are, I'm not quite sure where they came from. Again, the size, the disturbance that they create, I think at lower speeds, is the reason we're getting sort of somewhat better performance. On the Merlin, I can speak for definitely those things work better. On the Bush Caddy, I don't know because I flew it without and with. And the difference on the width was basically full-on three-point landings, did not fall out as much, reduced landing speed, and not much on the top end. I have to say I'd be ducking out of my rear end to say that I also increased on the upper end. No, we increased on the bottom end about 4 to 7 miles an hour slower stall than we did before. Also the approach much more stable. So I do like those things, and they're easily made. Senair uses a similar system. So if you have a 701, 750, Senair also sells those things. But again, they're easily made. On a weekend project, it's going to take you much longer to build the forms than it actually does to build those little VGs once they're finished. It goes quick.